Hey guys, Basement Breakdown here. I'm jet lagged, I'm tired. I just came back from my trip to Portugal, which was beautiful. I thought I'd come back a lot fatter, but it seems that the amount of fish and carbohydrates mixed with the amount of walking I did not equal that much weight. But now it's time to get back into the swing of things. I was able to make a little bit of the money that I lost last card. To be fair, the last 2 weeks have been a little rough for UFC. Dana White's Contender Series I did okay with this week, getting the main event, which was an Underdogs Souza. Right, and we're looking to make some money this weekend. While there is no UFC, I do have a Championship 1 card. This will be courtesy of my subscriber, a guy who I did the a previous Championship 1 card. The guru himself, the gambling phenom. I will let him talk about Championship 1, Lumpinee 125. This takes place Friday, September 19th. Yeah, let's get into it.
Hello, subscribers of Basement Breakdown. This is a warning for anyone who bets. In the following bets, there will be a bunch of fighters who I think will win, but I do not bet on due to the odds. And this is for the safety of the people who bet, and for the safety of the people who are subscribed to Basement Breakdown. Robberies can be apparent, and well, the fight game is unpredictable. But anyways, let's get into it. Bout 3 Muay Thai, Muga Seto versus Rayan Mekki. Rayan Mekki is a 3 times underdog. This is a risk. Muga Seto is a 1.4 favorite. This is also a risk. On betting sites, on different betting sites, it varies. Use the zone bet and use net bet. But anyways, this fight is a major risk. At first, before the odds came out, I thought Rayan Mekki would be the favorite in the fight. I thought he would be the favorite and have the better chance to win. And I originally chose Rayan Mekki, but I know he is fraudulent and has had issues fighting after the second round. He is tall and evasive and uses spinning elbows once in a while, but his striking power is not that great. His chin is not that great neither. He has a very padded record against lower level competition, and as for what I can tell, from the 3 losses that I've seen from him, 1 to Liam Harrison, he does not like dealing with high pressure. He's a 3 times underdog now. At first, I thought he would be a favorite, but the odds are released, and I would have placed an underdog bet on Muga Seto. That's what I would have thought, but that's not the case. This fight is a huge risk, and I will place a bet or 2 on Rayan Mekki, as he has been training with Team Medisa 2, which is a very well-known team. But he may lose here. Muga Seto is a dominant Japanese fighter who walks forward and throws with heavy hands and accuracy. Muga may win with a knockdown in round 2 or 3, but I would assume training with Team Medi Zatut that Mekki is indeed prime now and not a kid prospect anymore. Not the same kid prospect that lost to Liam Harrison. I think he has a chance to perform here. Muga Seto's career record is 19-5, and I've been very successful betting on him in 1FC, making a couple hundred on him over his career in 1. I had him over Emwe at 4.5. Muga Seto knocked down Emwe twice, and then Emwe knocked him down once, and he couldn't meet the count, which is why this also comes in. This comes in handy for our fight. But I don't see a KO coming from Mekki. For your money, I would say take Rayan Mekki. He's worth the hedge parlay. But if you can get Muga Seto at 1.4, I'd say also take him just to hedge the Rayan Mekki bet. And yeah, add both men to the parlay that I'm going to leave for you at the end of this video. It's a safety parlay. Bout 4 Muay Thai woman. Nafis Delica is going to be my pick. She's fighting Liu Ye, and this fight is a risk. That's my prediction. Anyways, Nafis is a 19-0 Turkish girl who won as an underdog for me in her last fight at 2.6 odds. She doesn't pack much power, but she packs output and precision and cardio for a woman. She is fighting that. Oh, she's she's beautiful, yeah. There's one, well, like I said, Liu Ye, who has sharp, fast striking, but has some losses and not against the highest comp. She is a risk, however, and this fight is a risk, but I think Nafis has the output advantage here at 1.6 odds, and I'll take her, but it is a risk. But I like when a woman wins for me, previously as an underdog, and she does seem sharper. Her last opponent she beat was a heavy favourite and has a record of 36 wins and 12 losses at the time. She was a seasoned Brazilian Muay Thai veteran, but Nafis gave her a 13th career loss. So I got Nafis here. She's a pretty good Turkish fighter. Bout 5, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it's the younger brother of Elbrus Osmanov, Dzhamil Osmanov. There's 2 Osmanov brothers fighting on the card. I have this prediction as safe. He's fighting a man called Gayasir. Anyways, his opponent's nickname is Psychic. Gaius's record is not that bad, but I cannot find his full record. I've been able to find some opponents that he's fought. He's beat decent competition, but he was beaten by Lam Singh recently in a decision, who just lost to Denker and Cry, who we just had as an underdog in their fight a few weeks ago. This gives me a good picture of his level. Losing to Lam Singh means that you will probably be overwhelmed by the younger Osmanov brother in the boxing realm. But the odds were at 1.2. Now they're, well, on some websites they're almost non-existent. But yeah, if you can find him at around 1. I don't even know, 1. Yeah, literally, if you can find him at around 1.15 to 1.2, yeah, I'd still say there's a bit of value at the end of your parlays with him. Bout 6, Water Goncalves versus Kongchai. My pick is Water Goncalves, and this is a risk. This is also an underdog bet at 2.6 times odds. I'm leaning towards Water Goncalves because he's an elite fighter with a record of 67 wins and 11 losses. He is a dangerous striker and counter striker who fights tougher opponents with a matador style, avoiding and slipping punches. He may be an underdog here because he has a lot of losses in 1FC, but if you actually watch the fight, he beat Rodtang by being evasive, and they did rob him against Rodtang. So on the career, yeah, he has the loss, but he actually beat Rodtang. If you watch the fight, he outstruck Rodtang at least 2 or 3 strikes to 1, and he out-tripped him. He tripped Rodtang a lot of times and put him on the canvas, and he slipped Rodtang the whole fight. He even fought in 1FC MMA and lost, but he is a tough fighter and has been robbed more than once. Kongchai is dangerous. This is his opponent, and arguably lost a robbery against his last opponent, Compet. He also lost a robbery to a very elite upcoming fighter who I'm very impressed with, Ramadan Ondash. Ramadan scored a knockdown on Kongchai, but Kongchai 100% scored a knockdown back, and the ref did not call it a knockdown. He took a knee after getting sniped rushing forward, and his arms and body were battered after the fight, and he was ravaged by kicks. A lot of people won't agree, but I had a bet on Ramadan to win, so I know that he lost that fight. This is not biased. I was very scared for Ramadan. I couldn't believe they put his hand up. It's because he had the knockdown, and he didn't call Kongchai's knockdown. But Kongchai has shown improvements in his career, knocking out Chokpricha, his old opponent, an old opponent of his who he beat before, but he knocked him out instead of going decision this time. And I like, what's it called? And like I said, yeah, he arguably won against Compet, but he lost out on his record. Walter should be able to evade for 3 rounds, but his body is his weakness, so he needs to assert some dominance. And after every time he slips, he needs to maneuver the small ring very well, which he did with me in his last fight. He got me a 4 times underdog win against Xavier Gonzalez. That's a common opponent between Kongchai and what's his name again, Walter. But it was clear Walter was a superior fighter. It was clear that he was able to evade Xavier the whole fight, but he did take some damage to it, like I said, to his weak point, his body. And Xavier was able to catch Gonzalez a lot more than he was able he was able to catch Kongchai a lot more than he was able to catch Gonzalez. This will be a fight of styles here, and I think Kongchai will be relying on his low kicks to slow Walter down. But yeah, I think Walter should be able to notice he's not stupid. I think he should be able to avoid the kicks and counter and exit with his fast movement right after his counters. He's always on his toes, and he's always keeping his face safe. He knows how to move out. He knows how to move his head out of the way, which is why he gets caught to the body sometimes. But I think he lands more strikes here to a decision victory in 9 minutes. I think he has a chance to do that. Bout 7, Kampantong versus Ikyusa, I'm going to go with Kampantong Chor Hapayak, which this is an insane risk in my opinion. But I think Kampantong will win because they have fought 2 times before. He's the older of the 2 fighters by 1 year. He lost the first fight but won the rematch where he outstruck him. And in the 5th round, he injured Ikyusa's forehead with a strike that cut Ikyusa open, and then they stopped. Kampantong stopped chasing in the last minute of round 5, as he was chasing the whole 5 rounds, and he was pretty fed up with it. And he started taunting that the opponent wasn't pushing him at all and just running the whole time, and they literally started dancing at the last 45 seconds, not engaging in combat. He refused to move forward anymore. He won the rematch. He won that second fight, the fight that I was just talking about, in in a big ring, but in a small ring, I think it favors his aggression style more. And ONE FC has a smaller ring than the ring that they fought in before. I think that the evasion style of Ikyusan is good. He has good teep kicks to the body, so this can be an issue for us. He's able to teep us very well in the first and second fight, but under the amount of pressure that he's going to be dealt with, he's going to have to be spamming those teeps to keep us away. This is a very small ring, and he doesn't move very well in a big ring, so in such a small ring, I don't know how he's going to fight. And although both men are young and able to upgrade a lot in their career, this fight was a year ago, so this is a risk. Just know that. Bout 8, Gianny De Leu. I got this scored as mid-safe. Gianni is a 22-0 professional Muay Thai fighter out of Belgium. He speaks French. He's also a soldier out of the Belgian army. He is tall and lean and able to avoid strikes pretty well, as shown in his ONE FC debut. He beat Kuroda Naoya, so there is some level of ability here, but Kuroda is not that great competition. His opponent, however, named Anan, may have won his ONE FC debut. He beat 5 people in a row, including Sunday Boomdaksan, who we bet against with Andre Masensev as an underdog and won at 2.6. Sunday sucks. He beat Sunday in a decision. He also won against Yod Udon by decision, who beat Kongburapa, but we know Kongburapa sucks, and there was a lot of warning ahead of that fight, so we did not bet much money on him. But anyways, he went to a decision with Yod Udon, which is not very promising for a fighter like Anon. But Anon does have power, I will give him that. He lacks the output sometimes, and his punches are pretty slow. He is pretty flat-footed, so I'd say he only has a puncher's chance here against the evasive Gianny De Leu. Gianni's going to be my pick at 1.55. His odds are moving around. I think he's at 1.6 now on some apps. Bout 9. For this fight, I'm going to take Kripet PK Senchai. This is a risk and also an underdog. Kripet lost very badly in his last fight. He was flatlined by Thwei Linatet by a spinning elbow. But we know Thwei Linatet's a fucking savage because he beat Chopricha for us in his last fight as an underdog a few weeks ago. Despite losing to Thwei and some others, Kripet boasts an impressive record of 72 wins, 20 losses. He has won for me once against Sisuek. I bet on Thwei to beat Kripet, but I also bet on Pet Lampoon to beat Kripet. Pet Lampoon was, just so you know, I don't normally bet on Kripet. Pet Lampoon was a bit gun-shy early, and it led to him being knocked down by Kripet. And Pet Lampoon is a dangerous fighter. I'll give respect to Kripet for. Pet Lampoon is a dangerous fighter who took the 3rd round, but was dropped in the 2nd round by Kripet. Kripet won via decision, having a knockdown. But if he didn't have that knockdown, I don't know if he would have won. I think Pet Lampoon would have won if Kripet didn't knock him down. But either way, beating Pet Lampoon is a good win, as Pet Lampoon's beat a lot of savages. But Kripet has to face a new opponent in Merdad Khanzadeh, I think that's his name, who I cannot find his whole career on, but I found his last 6 fights, including fights outside of ONE FC. He lost 3 fights, won 3 of them. He lost to a man who's not that good, but clinched him and landed a head kick on him inside of that exchange, at the exit of the exchange, winning the fight for the tie. This fighter, Merdad Khanzadeh, fights like a Timu version of Abdallah Ondash, with his Iranian-style kickboxing. But his boxing can be okay, and he can go 3 rounds, but his chin's not that great. And I think, even though he may be able to outstrike Kripet, I think Kripet will be able to slip 1 or 2 strikes and land his windmill counter punch here on the chin that gets left wide open by the Iranian. Kripet's a 2.1 underdog, but this is a risky underdog. But one I think can win via having a knockdown somewhere in this match. Plus, Kripet has a teammate named Pichichai who beat Murdad in one of his recent fights already with 3 knockdowns in the fight, but it wasn't a knockout, it was separate rounds with the 3 knockdowns. This is a friend of Kripet, and they train in the same gym, and he will definitely advise him on his upcoming fight. Bout 10, Petnin Munkorn versus Petnaya. I am going to take Petnin Munkorn. This is a risk. He is an underdog at 2.1, but his odds may have changed over to a favourite, and the odds have moved a lot. The line has moved a lot for a lot of fighters too. Petnin Munkorn is a Thai veteran at the age of 27 with 64 and 21 win to loss ratio. He boasts a win over Rifdin Mastor, 44 wins, 8 losses on his record, which messed up my parlays on that day. But Rifdin has appeared on my safety parlays more than once and won for me plenty of money, so I know the level of Petnin Munkorn. He can be outstruck, but he has good defense. Weathers the storm and ends up landing knockdowns or knockouts. Rifdin made it to a split decision with him. The other 3 opponents in 1FC ended by knockout, but they were lesser opponents than Rifdin. Petnin Munkorn is fighting upcoming opponent Petnaya. Petnaya is a dangerous forward striker who unleashes a storm early but ends up gassing out as the fight goes on, taking damage. He is usually KO or bust, landing a knockout win over easy opponent Yodoi Kyo Samrit, who's a very a bum, but then fighting Maheswan, and in my opinion, he won a robbery over Maheswan. Maheswan, I was worried for his chin during the fight, and I was right to be, as he was knocked down twice early in the fight with Maheswan, but with the fight with Petnaya, but Maheswan, in my opinion, did enough to win and bring the fight back in his favor, but they gave it to Petnaya. He was knocked down by Petnaya twice early, and then brought back the second round and third round in his favor with a knockdown in one of those rounds as well here, but it wasn't enough to win apparently, because of the 2 knockdowns that Petnaya had compared to the 1. Petnin Munkorn is tougher defensively than Maheswan, but not as much of a sniper. But he may not need to be, as he has crumbling pressure, and his opponents seem to gas themselves out against him quicker when they only hit block. They only hit his guard, and they only get hit in return to the body, because Petnin Munkorn's pretty short. He likes to break people's bodies down. I think Petnin Munkorn can weather the storm, and can weather the early storm, and come back and KO Petnaya later. But it is a big risk, a very big risk. Petnaya is probably the person they want to win. Bout 12, Elbrus Osmanov versus Samapech. This is a safe match, or mid-safe, I should say. The odds may be lower than what it was when I first got it. I got it at 1.2, but the odds should be lower now probably, and it might not be worth it anymore. But the truth is, Elbrus is a great Russian fighter with a 13-1 record in Muay Thai, 8-3 in his boxing career, which is pretty hidden. But he has lost to Yuki Yoza, a great underdog for me and my boys on that day. Elbrus Osmanov is great and durable, but he isn't the cleanest striker of the bunch of Elmedi Zatu fighters. But so, like a great technician like Yuki can beat him. Opponent Samapech, however, is not a very good technical striker, nor very confident in himself anymore. He's lost so many of his last fights and by knockout. But in his prime, he was a beast of a man. He is 31 years old and has been damaged in a lot of wars, holding an impressive 127 wins, 23 losses. He has beaten great fighters like Alaverdi Ramazanov, which is an impressive win, an incredible win. Rodlek. He also beat Kulabdam, which is an incredible win too. Kulabdam, aka Left Me to Right, aka Black Rose. He beat Mohamed Yunus Rabah by KO as his most recent win victory in a rematch with him, but he also lost 3 times in a row recently by KO. His competition in his last 3 fights were Nico Carrillo, Felipe Lobo, Abdallah Daikev. I would explain why these 3 losses are so important. Abdallah trains in the same gym as Elbrus Osmanov, and knocked out Samapech after 2 knockdowns, but he was dropped once by Samapech because he was chasing the win down harder than John Silva was chasing Diego Lopez. That's why he ended up getting knocked down once, but he still beat Samapech by knockout. This shows Samapech has clear KO power, but he got knocked down pretty bad. Felipe Lobo we saw recently did not do enough at all to beat Kulabdam, but did enough to beat Samapech by KO. Samapech beat Kulabdam, and so basically in this scenario, Muay Thai math does not work, and it doesn't work for a guy like Samapech, which is why I'm saying you might as well bet a hedge on Samapech at 9 times if your parlays end with Elbrus. He fights purely off how his confidence and adrenaline let him. Also, this is another thing that I want to say. Because of that, he fights purely off how his confidence and adrenaline let him. And because Elbrus Osmanov doesn't seem to have too many KOs in the 1FC circuit, I think Samapech has the ability to get to a decision in this fight, which is 3 times. 3 times money. I'll leave that as a link later. Anyways, the fight with Nico Carrillo and Mohamed Yunus Rabah proves that Samapech has troubles dealing with fighters outside of the Thai circuit. He KO'd Mohamed in a rematch, but Mohamed is an okay fighter. He may be an okay fighter, but he's a little bitch. He's a pussy. He's a guy who got eye poked one time and then called a no contest with Shadow when Shadow was knocking him down and destroying him the whole fight. He quit on himself. He quit on himself against Shadow. But anyways, what was I saying? Elbrus would beat Yunus Rabah. I don't know if he'll beat Carrillo, but he'll beat Rabah. Therefore, I have to say that he wins against Samapech. But it may go the distance for a fighter like Samapech, even though it's 9 times bet and the odds are stacked against Samapech surviving. But Elbrus isn't much of a KO chaser, so it can actually happen. The 3 times bet can happen on a decision. With this being said, Elbrus is 1.1 and going down in odds. He is the final bet on the card, so if you have parlays, which will end with him winning, place at least enough money to hedge your bets. If Elbrus does lose, it is 9 times on Samapech. It makes complete sense to bet a little bit on him in case you have bets winning with Elbrus, just in case Elbrus does lose. But Samapech should lose, but Samapech may come in with a bit of confidence in this one, or gather his confidence and his willpower for this one, and may survive a decision. And I think 3 times is worth it here. Anyways, bout 11, Logan Chan versus Saxry. Logan Chan is 1.6, but he was 1.75. The odds are decreasing rapidly and increasing rapidly, actually, so you might be able to catch it at a weird line movement. Logan Chan has an impressive record of 25 wins, 1 loss. I have not witnessed his loss, but in another fight, I have watched him get knocked down and get back up after getting knocked down and get the TKO win over the opponent who elbowed him to the floor. He walked him down, landed a body shot, and threw a head kick, which looked like it broke his jaw and knocked his teeth out, because the other guy was trying to vomit and was just walking off the KO. It may have been a body shot, that caused the vomiting issue, but he didn't vomit, but he looked like he was going to vomit. The head kick also was nasty. Logan Chan also beat Thai fighter Chama in his one debut. This is extremely impressive to me, as I was rooting for Chama to win. Chama has a record of 92 wins, 31 losses, and the reason why I was voting for Chama to win is because Chama once beat a fighter named Uzair Ismailjonov from Uzbekistan for me as an underdog. He also KO'd Super Jeng for me. Logan Chan's upcoming opponent is named Saxry. He trains out of Superlek Muay Thai gym, holding a record of 49 wins, 22 losses. He opened as a slight underdog, and I was shocked at how Logan was a 1.75 favor. I thought he would be way lower. The Logan money line is moving rapidly though, but I think Logan lands a KO here, but it is a risk. I think he lands the KO, but it is a risk. Saxry's last win was against a fighter who prefers a bigger ring than 1FC can give him, and uses his reach and length to beat most opponents. He had a padded, quite good record, which is why the line opened up so close, but Logan should smoke him.